What's good, everybody? I'm TJB and welcome back to my Saturday Specials beat making series. Today I've got this jazz record picked out. I was in the mood to chop up some piano keys, and there's this nice little piano song at the end of the album that I want to chop up. We're gonna record this in, I'm gonna pitch it all the way down like usual, and then we're gonna get sliced up and see what I can go with from there. It's got these nice little more melancholy sounding chords and keys that I think would be nice to make a nice little jazzy beat. Maybe use the Moog, throw that on there too. But before we get into it, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment letting me know what you think of the beat. If you like these videos and all the beats that I make, I got a ton of music available on streaming. You can find it on my website in the description and a pinned comment in the comments. I just had an instrumental album come out at the end of last year, and I also will be putting out all my Saturday Specials beats that I've made so far from last year up on streaming as well. Pre-save link and everything is also in the description and that pinned comment in the comments. Really appreciate it, but for now, let's get back into the video. Alright, got it recorded in. It's a pretty nice sounding record. There's a lot of different elements I think we can use to... I think I'm going to get started with the keys, and we can probably bring in some like guitar licks and stuff as more background pieces later on. But yeah, I'm going to get started with slicing, and I think I'm going to lay down a drum break, then get to chopping after that. I think I might want to even use the applause too. We'll see though. Alright, I think I got the slices I want, so let's bounce this to a sample program, and we'll start finding drums for it. I think I got a drum break I recorded from another record I might want to use, so we'll see how that turns out. Alright, I like this drum break. I'm going to normalize it, do a little tap tempo too, see what the BPM is. Got 96 there. I think I'm going to slow that down by quite a bit, like probably 78%. Pitch it down, 2 semis. Probably what I was looking for, just about 75 BPM. Then when I slice these to the quarters, kind of make it easier for me to loop it. Alright, lay this down. See how 75 dead even turns out. Maybe I need to speed up the BPM just one. How's the compressor sound on here? I added a compressor and a lo-fi effect to the drums. I just used one of the vintage hardware presets on the MPC, and then I just brought the bit depth up to 16 from 8, and I dropped the mix percentage down just a little. Those drums sound pretty raw. I'm a fan. Let's drop these drums so you can hear the piano better. I think you might want to bring the sample down a couple more semis too. I like that being pitched down a lot better. We'll up the sequence to 4 bars, copy and paste these 2 bars over, and we'll get to chop. Then we gotta add a tail to these sample slices, so there's like no free space in between notes. We got a mother ducker on the sample already. Added a few more effects to the sample to make it a little bit grimier. Added a stutter, the AIR flavor, and I killed the low end. So this nice little detune kind of sounding effect going, and I really like that. Yeah, this one's pretty grimy so far. Got the effects on the drums and the sample where I want them. I think it's time to try to add the Moog. Hopefully we can get something fruitful out of this. All right, I like this patch. Okay, just added a compressor and a little bit of a flavor effect onto that Moog bass line to kind of tighten it up a little bit so you can hear all the notes as like equally as possible. Alright, so we pretty much got the beat finished, but I want to add just some little, I guess just some more background pieces to kind of fill it out so it kind of keeps it more interesting in the context of a song. Like I said earlier, I think there's some parts of the sample itself that we recorded in earlier that we could add to another track and just leave in the background. Let's give it a shot and see how it turns out. Like the applause. Pitch shift this a lot to bring it a lot lower. 6 semitones. And then we're going to time stretch it by a bunch too, so it kind of covers the span of at least 4 bars. Because right now it doesn't. Does not come close to covering 4 bars, but maybe we can add some reverb or something on it. Or we could also 16 level when we record it in. Like 1 note full velocity, then 2 bars in, like maybe half velocity. Add some effects to it, probably just mainly kill some frequencies. Low end, high end. I think I want to widen out the stereo width too. Give it some reverb. Alright, made some changes to that applause section. Killed a lot of the low end, some of the high end, added some reverb to it, and also stretched out the stereo width. And then I changed what I did with the velocity, so I only kept the like 50% velocity pad and the one that was lower, a touch lower below that too. It was just a little bit too loud. I think there might be some other pieces of that sample we can bring in here too. You know what? I think those just might be for something else completely different than what we're going for right here, which is okay. Don't have to use everything. Like what we got so far, I was looking through this other record in between real quick, and I think there's this little plug section in one of those songs I might be able to add as just like the final piece of this beat. So let's go see how that turns out. I think I found which note we can use. Actually, this might not even work, but it is what it is. We'll try it. Actually, I don't mind it so much now that I've placed it in here. I think I just got to add some effects so it fits a little bit better. Okay, did a lot to this pluck. Killed the low end, I added the SP1200 ring. Kind of gives it a little bit more of a lo-fi feel. I added a reverb, I added a delay, and I also added a multi-chorus. Did a lot of work to make it feel like it fits, but I think it's gonna work. Alright, I think that's the last thing I'm going to do on this beat. I really like how this one turned out. This is grimy. It's very grimy. Alright, so we began this beat by recording in that sample. We picked out a bunch of slices from the little piano sections in there. And then after we picked out all of our slices, we picked out a drum break. Pretty much made a very simple 2-bar loop just that I ripped from there, but we added some effects to it to make it sound a lot grimier, which was just a vintage compressor and a little bit of a lo-fi effect. And then once we laid down those drums, it made it super easy just to lay down the sample chops with that piano sample. Made that piano sample also sound extremely gritty. We did it by adding a mother ducker, a stutter, the AAR flavor effect that's on here, and we killed some of the low end so we could add our Moog bass line. It's a really simple bass line. It's basically just mirroring the main notes that were in that sample chop we did, but it's a very nice bass sound. It's a nice bass patch. I really like how it turned out. So there's a nice punch to it. It fits very well. And then another fun thing we did was at the beginning of that sample we recorded in was that little like a little bit of applause because it was a live recording. We took that, messed with the 16 level a little bit and added a bunch of effects on there as well. We killed some frequencies, we added a reverb, and we widened out the stereo width. The last thing we did was we found a little pluck sample from another record that I recorded in. Did a lot of work to make it sound like it fits on a beat this grimy. Killed the low end, and then like I just said, we added the SP1200 ring and a reverb, a delay, and a chorus. Really happy with how it all turned out. It's a very grimy beat, a big juxtaposition of what I just put out last video. But we're back in the moody stuff. It didn't take long. Got a lot of arranging, mixing, and mastering to do in Ableton. This one definitely needs it. There's a lot of elements that record in pretty hot, but I decided to run with it because that's what we do in hip hop, right? Something goes wrong, you just kind of figure it out. But anyway, I really appreciate if you made it this far in the video. Like always, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment letting me know what you think of the beat. Like I said earlier, if you like these videos and the beats that I make, I got a ton of music available on streaming. I just put out an instrumental album at the end of last year, and I'll also be putting out all the Saturday Specials beats that I made last year up on streaming by the end of the month. Links where you can find everything are in the description and a pinned comment in the comments below. But again, really appreciate if you made it this far. Let me know what you thought of it, and I'll catch you in the next one.